Hello, welcome to the tour of the Fullstack Basic Web Application Development Tool. Fullstack Basic builds web applications using a basic programming language. We'll begin by looking at the Hello World sample project. The first thing you'll notice is a WYSIWYG page designer. Let's change the size of the font on that label. Making it bigger. Very good. You'll also notice a code editor over here, and you may notice that they're integrated. For example, this button here called Command Click has an event and a builder which will take us directly to the code behind that button. Okay, going the other way, this variable called LBL message refers directly to that label on the screen. Let's run it and see that it works. Very good. Okay, let's pause it, put a breakpoint in, carry on running, make it stop at the breakpoint. We can change the code while it's running. Watch this. Hello, Craig. Can step over. Okay, we didn't like that. We can go and change the next line of code to run. Let's do that. Step over. Very good. Very flash. And we carry on. Take the breakpoint off. Carry on. Hello Craig. Okay, next thing we need to do is to deploy it. And Fullstack Basic has three ways to deploy projects. One being to FTP, for the file system, but we will deploy it to the free host of Fullstack Basic, which you get if you've registered your copy of Fullstack Basic, which is also free. Let's do that. Okay, very good. It's done. Here's the link. We'll open up the web page. There it is, and test it out. All very good. Okay, let's move on to something a bit more interesting. Let's have a look at the list application. This is a sample. What it does, it's a simple web application for storing a list of notes. Let's run it and see that it works. Okay, we're in debug mode, and it's loaded up a list of strings from the server, displayed on the screen. Let's see how it works. First thing is that this table element that's on the screen is an array. The wonderful thing about that is that in BASIC you can redim an array. Here we go. Redim our table item rows to a particular size. Magic. One line of code and dynamically created a number of rows on the screen. Wonderful. Okay, let's put a breakpoint. Actually, let's just run it. Run. Hello. Okay, let's have a look at the populate function. So I'll pause it, put a breakpoint in it, actually, and carry on running, save and refresh. Okay, it stopped on our breakpoint. Now this is a really interesting thing. Currently our code is running in the browser, as you'd expect, but the remote call function means that this code will run on the server, and we can step into it. Okay, so now we're looking at code that runs on the server. Okay, so on the server we're checking if a file exists, we're reading the file to a string, and we're converting it to a variable which is, let's have a look in the watch, which is an array of items, and you'll recognize that we're a fan of white chocolate. Okay, step out of, we've just stepped out of our remote call and now looking at code that is running in the browser again. And here's a line of code that redimensions our array in the table on the screen. And here is a loop that populates that array. So this line of code will put some data on the screen. There it is. And it will loop around and fill that up until it's done. Excellent. Very impressive. Now, once again, because it's a web page, we need to deploy it if we want to have it on the web. Let's do that. Deploy. What I didn't mention is that when you're debugging code on the server, you can change it. You can change server code while it's running on the server. Amazing. Of course, you have watches and you can update the variables. And here we have our web application working. Superb. And of course, running it in debug mode again. That new item that we just put in is there. Superb. Okay, let's move along. The next sample project is much more fun. Okay, sample games. Not really a game, but it uses game technology. So you can see here, we've got the canvas. It's a HTML5 canvas. We put some sprites on top of it. And we've got an event loop, or a game loop, sorry. Now the game loop is in a function, obviously called game loop. And it's just a loop that continues until the game is over, which in our case is forever. So the loop, what it does is it moves all the balls around, does some collision detection, and renders the canvas, and then calls this function, which makes this function pause, allowing other functions to run, and then when the pause is over, it moves on to the next line of code in the function, so there's no callbacks. Full Stack Basic has no callbacks for any reason. Not even when you're calling server functions. No, that's good. Just amazing. Let's run this because this is fun. A bit interesting. Here we go. Oh yes, there's also audio. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's an annoying clicking sound when they hit each other. And of course, we can deploy it. Yep. Oh, it's pretty good. Much fun. I'll turn the sound off and I can watch it forever. Okay, moving along. The next sample project is a bit different. It just makes a PHP page, which builds a PDF document. Okay, so in this case, you'll see that there is one deployed component, which is a PHP component, which has an event that is on component run, which will run when the PHP is started. Okay, in this case here, the function builds up a PDF document and returns the data that is the PDF document at the end. Let's run this and see what it does. We'll put a breakpoint in it. Run. Okay, it's in debug mode, but look, we can change it. Let's say Craig's PDF PHP application. Continue running, and there it is. So that's in debug mode. We can deploy it. Or before we do, one of the features that this code uses is a virtual function. Now, what's cool here is that we have an object called the PDF page, which contains an array of items. But the item class has got nothing except a single virtual function called getPDFData. Now, it does nothing, but the item text object inherits the item and then overrides the getPDFData function, as does the line object and the path object and the rectangle object, so that when the page loops through its items, the correct version of getPDFData is run for each item. Very flash. So virtual functions overriding magic. Okay, let's deploy this and see what we get. And we click on the link. And there it is. Now, finally, a full stack basic project, when you save it, save as test, saves as a single file. And the single file contains all of your pages, all of your code, a copy of all of your images and all of your audios, so that if you need to be able to send your whole website to someone else so that they can deploy it, it's easy. Single file, someone else gets it, and then they go deploy. No dependencies, easy to back up, just superb. So I hope you like what you see. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any comments or questions or problems, let me know. Good luck. Thanks for watching. See ya.